future's never certain.
Heliopolis, meaning City of the Sun, was an ancient Egyptian religious center near modern Cairo. It was a central religious site for the sun god Ra, and it was key for theology and astronomy, considered to be the place where creation began. It's also the nickname Ernest Littlefield gave the meeting place for the library of the four great races in The Torment of Tantalus. We've been developing at Dial the Gate our own version of Heliopolis, a knowledge companion. It's designed to let you explore the Stargate universe in an interactive way, ask questions, and uncover material that collectors have been preserving for years. It's an ambitious project, and we could use some help. So if you know how to build rich, media-driven web experiences, if retrieval augmented generation means something to you, because it certainly doesn't to me, I'm just reading the script from Ian, or if you have hands-on experience with hybrid search or knowledge graphs, reach out to me at dialthegateshow@gmail.com, and I will put you in touch with Ian and Martin on our back end who are building this thing. We will be very grateful for your help. Welcome to Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project, episode 393. We're cranking them out there. Welcome to season 6, our second episode. Hope you enjoyed Joe Flanagan. Christopher Judge, Teal'c in Stargate SG-1, seasons 1 through 10, Arc of Truth, Continuum, and Midway on Atlantis. We have Christopher Judge joining us for this episode. He is in Atlanta today. He woke up a little bit earlier so he could sit down and talk. This was a spur of the moment thing. I had someone else scheduled for today along with Joe, and Chris was amazing to come in and pinch hit for me. We started dialing home long before Dial the Gate. It's kind of a spiritual predecessor to this show. I've said that before, where I really got my feet wet in terms of this process, and I did that right next to Christopher. So I've always felt him here with me in spirit, and to be able to bring him back on, especially today, means everything to me. So I'm not going to belabor this. Let's go ahead and bring him in, and I'll catch up with you after the interview. But this was recorded Saturday morning. Christopher Judge, welcome back to Dial the Gate, sir, and thank you for joining me on my first day of the 6th season of this thing that I feel that we started together. Is it 7? So it's 2017, wasn't it?
No, I think it was
9 years.
I think it was earlier than that.
Was it early 2016?
Because we were still doing the 2018 game of God of War when we started this. So it might have even been end of 2015.
Yeah, that's because for 2016, I remember we went and saw Star Wars Last Jedi in Vancouver, and that was 2017. So it was it's such a blur, you know.
I know.
And I still feel like we're not done. You know, I still feel like we left that unfinished.
Well, you know, it especially with all the new stuff, and it's a good time to be a Stargate fan right now, let me tell you. I am a fan.
Well, that's the thing. You know, what do you think of the announcement? A fourth one, SG-4, is finally coming. How did you find out?
I got a call from Gero, from Martin. First I got a email, I believe it was, and I didn't know, but he had been trying to reach me on Facebook. And as you guys know, I don't go on Facebook. I just the social media stuff is just beyond me. So he got my he got my number from Jules. And so
Jewel State, yeah.
Yes. And so he texted me. why is Gero texting me? And so read his text. So he was letting me know that the deal had been made, and I was just so over the moon. And just the fact that Brad, Joe, and Gero are all on it. It's I've known Gero was a baby writer with us,
He was.
and the thing, one of the things I'm most proud of with Stargate is how everyone has really gone on and done other things,
Mhm.
and then we still come back home. You know what I mean? And so Garo and I then met for lunch, and
Okay.
it was wonderful. Like, he has not changed a bit. The love that he has for Stargate and respect um, is it's not only heartening and encouraging. It just makes you feel like it's in such safe hands, you know. And I can't wait to see what the three of them do. And he very painted a very, 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 very broad picture for me.
Oh, so
Kind
he
of
gave you an idea, like a rough idea. Okay.
uh, very rough. And in
Okay.
fact, this was before the writers' room started. So I
Right.
don't even know if that's still the same thing or not, but just kind of some of the ideas he had on which ways to go and things like that. So it was great.
How does it? So, okay. So, since you opened that door, so
Uh-oh.
in terms, no, no, no. I'm going to be good with you here. Brad said
Mhm.
that it feels like Stargate, and Garo said that it's a totally new thing. So fans online are going back and forth and like, okay, so is it going to be Stargate? Is it not going? What is your impression of the texture of the brushes and the paint that he's painting with in terms of how this is going to feel in terms of a fourth Stargate?
I'm in agreement with both of them. From the little that I gleaned from it, it's
Hmm.
going to feel like Stargate. Um, it will have different colors to it,
Hmm.
but it will feel like Stargate. It will have the sense of humor, the sense of
Okay.
exploration, the sense of
Okay.
hope, 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 hope.
Okay.
It's not going to be this post-apocalyptic thing. It's going to be, in my humble opinion, which I don't know what that means. Um, I, like many others my age, cut my teeth on Star Trek, and it was it made you think, but it also gave you hope for the future. It was about exploration, but also about learning things about other peoples that maybe gave you insight into yourself and expanded your own horizons. And this and for please correct me if I'm overstating, for a lot of people, me included, that's what Stargate was. It made you optimistic about the future. It put a smile on your face. You watched episodes and felt good afterwards. Um, some of the, and don't get me wrong, some of the sci-fi right now it's great, but it's so dark, and the world's a dark place right now. Um, Hope is fighting, but I want to watch something, and we've talked about this,
Hmm.
that basically I think that science fiction is the inverse of what's going on in society. When society is struggling and you need to escape it. And I think that's what's kind of missing in sci-fi right now: a sense of humor, a smile, a wink, and hope. And I'm very confident that SG-4, Stargate 4, will definitely have that, especially with those three components in place, being Martin, Brad, and Joe.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. People have been coming to me and asking me for my opinion on this, and Martin's only 6 years older than I am, and we basically I grew up as a reporter on this show, and he grew up as a as a writer on it.
Yeah, he
Probably
was the baby writer. Yeah.
firsts for both of us, and when I try to say to folks that he's gonna take care of this franchise, I'm trying to communicate it in such a way that it's not to indicate that uh, like any kind of favor toward him or anything else, but I
Mhm.
know that he loves the show. And
Yes.
if there is anyone who has a shot at this, that we're at that cusp of, and I think I've said this before in a couple of, we're at like pre-launch for The Force Awakens for the new Star Wars rebirth.
Hmm.
They have
Hmm.
one shot to nail this, to really
Hmm.
nail this thing for everyone. And
Yes.
then, people are going to make their decision. And that's like the phase that we're in right now. We've just found out that Lucas has signed this thing over and they're going to start working on it. And that's where we are for Stargate fans. And the other thing that I
Hmm.
think that you mentioned that's really awesome is that where Star Trek was always aspirational, looking at people who are in a future space. What's great about Stargate now is that the people that we're watching who are doing things to get through a rough situation or show that they can be the people that they need to be in the moment are from our time.
Right.
And I
Right.
can be that person. I don't have to come from an idealized society. I can pull that off now if I just
Right.
believe in myself and the people that I'm working with, or
Hmm.
cultivate a group of people that can help me pull off whatever I need to pull off.
Exactly. Exactly right. And that's really interesting. We are those people now. Back then, we were looking ahead. We've now grown into those people. You know, so it's really interesting. It's exciting. It's hopeful, and I really think it's a chance to, it's strange. I'm doing conventions again, and to now see three generations of Stargate fans. When we started doing these conventions 20 some odd years ago, there were parents there with their kids. Now those kids bring their kids along with their parents. So to see three generations of a fandom is wild, but to also see that there's a new generation that can be infused with hope and humor instead of negativity and um, this sense of doom and gloom of impending
Nihilism.
doom
Yeah.
is I really really, and I hope I'm not overstating it, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a television show, but I think light, wherever it comes from,
Mhm.
is sorely needed right now.
Mhm.
So, I hope I'm not.
No, I
Oh,
we had Bill
yeah.
Nye on in December last year, and I told him, with like Stargate's not curing cancer, but Stargate is entertaining the people who cure cancer.
That's right.
So that's like
Very well said.
we all need a place to go
Mhm.
and see something that, okay, yeah, tomorrow's gonna be okay. I have a
Right.
shot at making it okay. It begins with me.
Yes. Yes. I'm really hoping that the rebirth, if you will, of this really kind of brings, and and Star Wars being coming back and whatever that will look like.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that it will, not that science fiction ever went away, but it goes back to those great days in the 90s, early 2000s, where it was event television. People stayed
Hmm.
home for their sci-fi because of how it made them feel, you
That's
know.
right.
And I hope that this is really the genesis of it.
Any
It,
shot at you appearing in this thing?
I told Gero, it has to make sense. You know, I don't want to do it for nostalgia as much as I would like to do it for nostalgia. I don't want the need or the desire to have Teal'c back be an impediment to the show because I want it to fly on its own. I think it'll be great for everyone if whoever it is or whoever the ends up appearing in whatever capacity, it'll be a great little kick and all that. But Teal'c was such a specific. He had such a specific journey that I really wanted to make sense and not just be, hey, there's a blast from the past. You know what I mean? So, but I'm definitely open to whatever they come up with, and one way or the other. I mean, I'll be watching. So, I mean, for me, that's almost enough to be able to. To me, the team was great, and I love the memories that I have of it and the fun we had. But to me, the star was always the Stargate and where it could take you. So I think as long as that, and I have no doubt of this, that the true star, the Stargate, is handled with loving care. I think it really can't go wrong, especially with those three at the helm.
February is Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
You had an extraordinary array of casts and crew over the years. I was blown away in watching Reckoning and seeing the masterful Isaac Hayes
Yes.
on your set. How did my understanding was he and his family were fans.
Big fans. Big fans. Brother Ike and I had kind of, not that we had an ongoing, but my uncle was the tour manager of the Fifth Dimension. So I had actually known Ike since I was a very small child. So this was kind of just it was a chance to really, and the great thing about Stargate on a personal level. You mentioned Isaac Hayes, Lou Gossett. I was an assistant coach for Sauté, his son's basketball team. So I had known Lou for, at that point, 20 some odd years. It was, but back to Isaac. Let me get, I have a little.
I'm going to get to Lou. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a little anecdote. So at that point, he was more known to the younger generation. I mean, my children, as chef on South Park, I believe it was, right? South Park? Yes. That's right?
You got it.
And so I had mentioned that Isaac Hayes was our next guest star. And so Cameron, my youngest son, said, Chef? He's like, Daddy, can I come? I said, well, you're in school, son. Like, you can't. So he just stayed on me. So I allowed him to miss a day of school. And I said, now, Isaac is a legend. Like, Chef is just what he's had this great, and I played him some of the music. I showed him some of we'd Google some of the roles that he had done, and I said, so if he brings it up, it's fine, the chef thing. But please don't, So we go to set, and Isaac comes and said, Cameron runs over to him, puts his arms, and says, Chef. So I'm like, oh my God. And of course, Peter DeLuise was directing, and DeLuise made a meal of it. And it was just one of them. And Isaac was just so gracious and took it in such good humor. Because I think at that point he had just been fired like the week before.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. So he took it.
So this
all
is
in
raw
stride.
for him.
Yeah, and we had some laughs about it, and it was just a brilliant week. One of the exchanges that I will never forget was, so the replicators, Brother Ike wanted to say, replicators, the replicators. And so we just walked over. He's like, "What? No, you can't say it like replicators. It's replicators. They're called replicators." And like I said, I know. I just wanted to bring a little soul to it.
uh,
One of the great exchanges of many.
he is there in threads for arguably the great. I'm getting goosebumps, man, just thinking about this scene right now, where he I forget the term. He calls you and Braytak both bloodkin. You have reclaimed Dakara in the name of the free Jaffa nation,
Yeah.
where their slavery began,
Mm.
and he uh, he was kind of there to bless the whole
Yes.
tribe of
Yes.
all of Jaffa people. That was a
Yes.
cool moment, and
Mhm.
it really came through the screen that this guy knows what this moment means. 8 years
Mhm.
we've been anticipating this. You guys have
Yes.
been in the show fighting for this to happen, and here we are.
Yes. Yes. He was um, a huge fan of the show,
Wow.
and we had some really. I ended up eating lunch with him every day, and we had some really deep conversations about the parallels between the Jaffa story and the civil rights movement,
Mm-hmm.
and to hear it from. I mean, I always understood what the allegory was with the Jaffa, but to hear it from a man that marched with Dr. King
That's
and
right.
was so instrumental in the civil rights movement it was overwhelming. And sometimes we've talked about when you're in the bubble of shooting, you lose perspective of what things that are done and said can possibly mean to people intellectually and spiritually. Um, and so to hear Mr. Hayes make that correlation it was, I was moved to tears um, by how much Stargate had touched him, and in particularly the struggle of Jafar. So for him to be able to bless Takara, it was very, very special.
That's a big deal. You get in your headspace, you're doing the material, you know you're keeping your head down, you know that it's working, and then someone years later who has had an impact on our society, on our nation, comes in and repeats those thoughts back to you. It's like, I knew it was working out there.
Mm.
Now I know that it's working out there because someone gave me something that I get to lock inside here
So valid,
and
yes.
here.
Well, and it's for me. It's much more evident to me now how much it worked, because I was always I never went on the internet. I never because to me I had seen what it does to actors because that was the very early days and people really people go crazy now, but it was this vehicle to say whatever is on your mind with no repercussions. And so it was wild. And so I saw, because there was a lot of shows being shot in Vancouver at that time. And, we'd all get together and, I had a lot of gatherings at my house where we would just sit and kind of talk about this. And I saw what it did to other actors to go on the internet and read things both complimentary and not so complimentary. And I just decided my mental state was so fragile that I was just not going to be a part of it. So for most of the show, um, I kind of didn't know if it was working or not. Of course,
Okay.
a part of me knew it was successful. We keep getting renewed.
Yeah, you're employed.
Yeah. And I knew. the convention side, but of it, that it was accepted. But people don't go to the convention to tell actors they hate you. So I just wanted to not let it influence
Mm.
how I played Teal'c, because to me, if you listen to the good stuff, you got to listen to the bad stuff too. So I just wanted to keep my portrayal of him, just to be honest about how I interpreted this character.
Mhm.
So I really, it wasn't until the show ended that I really began to ingest how much the show really affected people,
And not right away. You know,
and
you
not
told
right
me
away.
you had to keep some make some distance between yourself and
Yes.
it for a while, and then one day you were just ready.
Yeah, truly. And I think for me, now looking back on that,
Mm.
almost, God, the show ended almost 20 years ago. That's crazy.
No.
That's crazy. Um, when the show was done, you think as an actor, okay, I was on a hit show for 10 years. I'm going to walk back to Hollywood and have my choice of stuff to do. It didn't happen that way. Um, and I don't know if typecast is the right, because I don't really, but the part of Hollywood that's not involved in the front lines, that whole business side of it, the lack of creativity is stunning.
Mm.
Um,
And
so
let's face
people,
it, Vancouver does not get the credit that it deserves.
correct, correct. Um, it really doesn't. Um, they still try to find new people in Vancouver. Um,
But when they go
but
on
so
strike in Vancouver, Hollywood barely bats an eye. That's what really gets me. It's like
mm,
stand in solidarity with your peers.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. And that's a whole nother thing if you want to touch on that later. But when I was really shocked that there would be parts that came up, and without ever seeing me, they would say, "Well, we love Chris, but we're going to go another way." Well, he does more than that, right?
right.
So for a couple years, and then we went on strike for a year.
Yeah.
So I went 2 years without working, and it was it was a weird headspace that I still love the character, I love the show, but I needed distance from it. I needed to not do anything that reminded anyone of Teal'c, and so that caused this separation, even from the great memories that I had. Because now it was something that was holding me back. Uh, it was keeping me from getting to where I wanted to be, and it really wasn't until God of War became a hit that it allowed me to go back and really appreciate not only Teal but the show overall, and to re-appreciate it, um, and to really enjoy it again. So that was 6 7 years of really having to distance myself from it, and then when we started doing the show, it was just that's kind of when it just all flooded back and really allowed me to really appreciate and reflect with joy on what we had done. So it was, I was in Brno in late November with Tony Amendola and Peter Williams, and we just sat and told stories and laughed, and it was just such great memories. It was just such a great time, and sometimes you have to be away from something to really
Mm.
appreciate what it was. And so yeah, it's nothing but great memories.
I am doing series of cast roundtables now, where
Mm,
I'm bringing different um, folks in from the franchise, and we've shot three of them with cast, and another one with crew.
mm.
What I would love to do is get uh, get Peter Williams down to LA
Mm.
to sit with you and Tony for 2 hours and
Oh, what a
just
dream.
catch up on this thing. I
Mm,
just need to get him just we need to all sit down and figure that out. I would
mm,
love to really do that,
mm,
because you guys made up the backbone with Peter of those first those first seasons. We've already had one with you and Tony, but I
mm.
would love to do that one with the three of you. Would you be interested in that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You know, I don't, I hope you don't cut this out. You
I'm
have
not cutting any of
been,
that.
you have been one of the gatekeepers of Stargate. You, Jenny, um, and I
Darren,
want to say
yeah.
Darren,
Gate
obviously
World,
Darren.
yeah. Yeah.
You guys are, to me, responsible for what's going on now because you never let the fandom wither away. Your love and absolute support and just your stick to itiveness with it because we were around together through all the ups and downs at MGM, when it looked like it was going to go again in whatever form it was, um,
Again and again.
again and again, even from
Just weather
yeah,
delays,
yeah,
one after
yeah,
the other.
yeah, yeah, and for the phenomenal effort that you've given over the years. I was so happy when the announcement was made and it was through you guys. It was wow, they're really starting this off right. You know what I mean? Because it was only fitting that it came through you and your collective.
It was really
I mean,
cool.
truly, and the fans should really, first of all, applaud themselves, but really applaud you and everyone for never letting it go away.
It was
And
too
for being
good
able
to
to
let it
bring
fade.
this to where Amazon says, yes, we have an asset. And
That's right.
that's largely because of your efforts.
We contributed. I agree
A
with that.
lot.
Lou
A
Gossett
lot.
Jr. What an extraordinary get.
Yes.
I I've said this to you before. I think he would have made an excellent Hank Landry. Like
Well, that
part of
was
me wishes that.
originally, that's where the conversation started was for
Okay.
him to play Landry.
Yeah, I
Um,
think he would have been a badass Landry.
oh yes, yes. But for Lou, I think it was he wanted to kind of step out and do
Okay.
something. And he also, well, Satie, his son, they were fans of the show, and he connected with the struggle of Jaffa. And we had great talks about the parallels of the Jaffa and the civil rights struggle. Um, and Lou, wow, his the gravitas that he brought. Um, See, people don't understand how Lou's a really funny guy. God rest his soul.
Yes.
And so it was a kick for me because I had seen that side of Lou, and so no one else had. So the reverence that he was treated with, he got a big kick out of because he wasn't one for pomp and circumstance. He was about doing the work and getting into the nitty gritty of it, but also having fun.
Yeah.
One of my great memories, this one. So it took a while for Beau Bridges to get in. I guess I'll just say the way it is to kind of get in stride with all the tomfoolery that went on set, and it would throw him a lot. And so when I didn't know this part of it. He and Lou had been friends since 1968, I believe it was. They had done a movie together, and I think you know this story. They had done a movie together, and they were shooting in Harlem. And the scene was Beau. I don't know if he beats him up, but he hits him. There's some sort of physical altercation, and Beau takes off running, and Lou's chasing him. Well, they didn't lock down the streets. So here's Beau
Not heard this story.
running through Harlem with Lou chasing him. So a group of black people like caught Beau and were going to do something physically to him because all they saw was Lou chasing him. So they figured
Right.
he's done something to Lou. And so they've got Beau and Lou says, no, he's cool, he's with me. And so that was the genesis of their friendship. So cut to, it's the last scene of the night and it's a walk and talk. So it's got to be a oneer. And it's 5 or 6 pages long. And Beau has
SG-1?
most of the, yeah.
Okay, yes, this is the walkthrough of the SGC when they're talking about
Yes.
Washington and
Yes. And so Beau carries most of the dialogue.
he does.
And so we're going and Beau's having problems and we're fucking around. So I'm sorry about that. We're messing around. And Beau's he really wants to get it because he wants everyone to be able to go home. It's the last shot of the night. And so we've done it a few times and never made it to the end. So we got to reset and start again. And Lou says, look, you got to get this shit so everybody can go home. You're keeping people away from their families. And we all stood there like, because Lou said it very sternly. And they look at each other and they both just break down laughing. And so this was a throwback to kind of their stuff from way back then. And Beau got it the next take. And then from then on, Beau was as big a contributor to the tomfoolery as everyone else, and it was just wonderful to see.
Before we let you go, the scene in the court with all the Jaffa together, and I don't remember who it was who was directing, and
I believe it was Martin Wood.
Okay, well, you want to tell the story that I'm indicating when Lou decided to rap and there was still more to be done? Could you please tell that story? Oh, I love this.
So Lou is from the film world.
That's right.
So the film process, no matter who says differently, well, okay, from what I've seen, and the films that I've done, you kind of find your character in the rehearsals, and you find the words and the dialogue in the rehearsals, because there's these long setup times and blah blah, and so that's very much how Lou worked. So when Lou's the first scene of his time there was him addressing the council, and it's a pretty long speech, and Lou comes out and he shakes everyone's hand, hugs everyone, asks everyone their names, and so we now begin to rehearse, and he's not off book. He's nowhere near off book. And this is kind of, they wanted to shoot all of Lou's coverage, which meant you really had to be off book. And and so I knew this was coming. And so Lou is getting it, and it's taking some time, and so finally we get to where we can start filming. And so Lou does it a couple of times and says, "Hey, great day, everybody. Thanks for the day." And everyone's looking around like, "What? It's like 11 o'clock. Like the day's just starting." But that's one of the things that Lou. I mean,
I think Lou's done.
Yeah. When Lou did the work that he was going to do for the day, Lou went home. Lou went back to the hotel.
That's right.
And so he's driving off. And I think it was John Smith who said, "Well, where's he going?" I said, "I think he's going back to the hotel." And so there's a state
You
of
know those
panic.
sticky notes that you have in the production office? Start unsticking and
Yeah.
resticking them right now, John.
And we, and we're like, so like, Chris, can you call him? I was like, and say what? Like,
No, no,
it's Lou Gossett. Like,
that's
he's
it.
done for the day. That's,
And
and so it was,
they know how lucky they were to have him.
yes,
And
yes,
whatever you can get from
absolutely.
that,
And
you make it
whatever,
work. For
yeah,
Lou Gossett Jr., you make it work.
yes. And
So,
we did make it work. And it was so worth it. And but it was just that I used to find great joy in not causing production delays, but making it sticky because that was
yeah,
fun for me. And just the sense of like what's going to happen. He's probably going to go for a walk around Stanley Park, maybe have some lunch.
yeah.
So he's not coming back. Like, I don't think so. Not today. But
Chris,
it was something that I think in hindsight, everyone will tell you it was just it was great to have him there and great to be around, enveloped in the sphere of energy that was Lou Gossett, and it's something that I don't think anyone will ever forget.
well, congratulations to you on Stargate returning.
Uh,
Congratulations
to
to all
to
of
all
you,
of us, to all
all
of
of
us,
us.
because that's
And
one thing also that was fostered. There's really no separation between the people doing the show and the people watching the show. It's just
mhm,
us. It's us, and it's always been us. And I'm very confident it will always continue to be us,
sweet. Thanks, man, for taking the time. You
brother.
catch your
My
car.
pleasure.
This means
And
so much to
please,
me.
man, brother, you know how much I love you, and
I
for
do.
you, anything, anything, brother.
Thanks, man. Christopher Judge, Teal'c and Stargate SG-1. My love for the man has no bounds. He gets it. He gets the material. He gets the character. He gets what it was that they were doing and what we all took away as fans in this thing. So it's just a treat to have him for this. My name is David Reed. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project. We have a ton of stuff happening. For one thing, we launched a new channel today, The Daily Gate. You can look at that up at youtube.com/at the Daily Gate. I have been wanting to expand my reach in terms of tools for video editing. I wanted to pick up a new tool, DaVinci Resolve, which I've been meaning to take a crack at for years. This guy in Greece, Tilamakos Kompanos, has been with me for tens of hours over the last couple of weeks, getting things helping me get things set up for season 6 of the show. He has earned the privilege of being the lead video editor on this channel with the title of that. And so he's taught me a few things that I've now implemented on this third channel, along with Wormhole Extremists being the second. So we launched channel 3 today, and go over there and watch it. It is pure Stargate clips from this year. I wanted to share my favorite scenes from the shows and not have them mix in with the original content that's over here. So that's off to the side over there. My intent is to publish a new clip every day for the foreseeable future. There's already a few on there now, and we've done we've picked some cool ones. I have a long way to go and a lot to learn through that, but that's what's going on there. So feel free to subscribe, feel free to ignore it, whatever you want to do. But those, I'm compiling my favorite scenes from the franchise there, and I hope you enjoy what we've picked. My tremendous thanks to the folks who helped me pull this episode off. Specifically, there is a gentleman who helped me do the credits for this episode, and his name is James Young. And he's doing stuff in Blender that is really cool. So he was responsible for the end of the Joe Flanagan interview, the credits there. He had Atlantis on the water, where it gradually fades to night and the stars come out. And that's at the end of the Joe Flanagan interview. Just a really cool shot. And this guy it puts out content like I do. So I think this may be a match made in heaven. It may be a little bit dangerous because, there's like, I have no idea where this is going to go in terms of him cranking out stuff. We may just never stop, but he's talented, and I'm just really thankful to have another person's perspective be part of the group who has some effects, thoughtfulness, and ideas. So it's great to have him. I cannot name everyone now who is helping me pull off every single episode. That's what the credits are for. There's so many people involved now, and thank you to all of you who make the Stargate Oral History Project possible on a weekly basis now. And thank you to all of you out there who are tuning in and giving us a reason to continue to create this content. We've got a heck of a lineup for you. Dialthegate.com is where it's at. We've just announced Terrell Rothery is going to be our 400th guest. And tomorrow we have James C.D. Robbins talking Stargate production art live with us at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And Tom Macbeth, Jacqueline Smuda, and Garwin Sanford, Harry Mayborn, Nirti, and Nareem. Our first roundtable discussion recorded in Vancouver in a more intimate setting. It's self-led. I'm not really in it, just at the start to announce it, and then you'll never see me in those again. Very interested to see what you guys think about it. We shot it at 60 frames per second, 4K. We wanted a really archival quality to start to seep into Dial the Gate after 400 episodes. It'd be kind of nice when we were just using webcams. So that's really what we're going to be bringing to this thing. So go and check it out. Let us know what you think, and we're just going to continue to make more of these happen. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you on the other side.